Today, I teach you how to turn $36 into $10,000 in this one little tip that most insurance companies don't want you to know about. Good morning, everybody. It's Jobeth Bowers, your accident and injury guy, coming at you from my Elkton office right here in Elkton, Maryland, where we take care of all of your injury needs. Today, we are going to be talking about a super easy insurance hack that's going to help you potentially turn $36 into 10 grand. And this is 10 grand that you'll be able to use for lost wages or medical bills or whatever you need them for should you be injured in an accident. And as we are seeing out there, prices are going up, 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 up. So if we are ever injured in an accident and missing time from work, getting paid for that time that you missed from work, super important right now. Things are really going to start getting tighter here. Want to do a shout out to a local business this week. Also, before we get started, our business of the week is Allegiant Fire Protection. Super important people, because again, what do we talk about here? We talk about protection. In this episode, I'm going to give you tips on how to turn $36 into $10,000 worth of protection. But let's talk about your house. Many of us have sprinkler systems in our homes. It's important to get those sprinkler systems tested. Allegiant Fire Protection right here. They're actually in Delaware, but they're right over the border and do a lot of work right here in Cecil County. I have screwed up the way that is, but 302-454-1240 is how you get in touch with them. Give them a call. Have them out. Have them inspect your sprinklers. You don't have to do it every month. You probably don't even have to do it every year, but you definitely, if you haven't had your sprinklers ever checked and your house isn't brand new, you might want to give them a call. So definitely check out Allegiant Fire Protection. Great people, and they'll make sure that you can get out of your house if you ever are in a fire. Hopefully that never happens to anybody, but again, we want to give as many resources and help to the community as we can. So let's talk about this little trick. This is something that I've talked about, but we're going to look at it from a different angle. Personal injury protection coverage. So I did something this morning in anticipation of this podcast where I went to geico.com. Everybody's heard of Geico. They're one of the number one or number two auto insurers in the state of Maryland. It's either them or State Farm. It goes up and down every couple of weeks or whatever. But one of the top insurers here by volume in Maryland, Geico. And I went through and I ran a pretty basic insurance quote. And I'm going to see if this will let me. And what I wanted to look at was, what is the price difference to have more and more personal injury protection coverage on this policy? So I'm going to go to this Geico quote page. And as you can see, what I have put together here is a $162.94 a month premium. We're not going to get into all of the other coverage that make this what it is, but I put premium coverage here, $300,000 in bodily injury liability, but and everything else, all the bells and whistles, enhanced, all this other stuff. But what I want to look at today is this $162.94 quote. So let's call it $163, is for a waived PIP, which means if you get injured in an accident, none of your medical bills get paid from your own auto insurance company, which might seem like a good idea, but trust me, it's how my office is able to put tens of thousands of extra dollars in people's pockets with each and every one of these claims. It's also the coverage that will pay your wages up to the limit of the coverage while you're missing time from work. Because otherwise, if you want everything to come from the settlement, you have to wait till the very end. Sometimes this is months. For people that are hurt more severely, it can be years. You don't want to wait that time, especially with prices going up. So we're going to take a little look. I'm changing nothing about this quote, except we're going to move the waived PIP to having the baseline $2,500 in coverage. We're going to click recalculate, and you're going to see that last number was $163. I rounded it up. All right. It was $162.94. So we're calling it $163. We are now increasing that coverage by $2,500. We're going from 0 to $2,500. And as you can see, the price goes up $1.36 a month. That's $12. Let's call it $13 a year. That's like nothing. But wait, there's more. Now we're going to go back down here. We're going to edit. As you can see, there's a bunch of different options here for the PIP coverage. You can go up to $2,500, $7,500, as much as $10,000. I will tell you right now, we're just going to skip to the end here because you only need to see this once. Waiving the coverage was $163. Now we're going to $10,000 in coverage. And if you were paying attention to the opener, you already know what this is going to be. You've already done, there it is, $166 a month as compared to $163 a month. That's $36 a year. We're going to knock that out. $36 a year to go from 0 coverage to $10,000 in coverage. Laurie, good morning. It's nice to see you there. This is super important stuff because this coverage, this personal injury protection coverage here in Maryland, is a no-fault coverage. I know that a lot of my clients are super concerned about, hey, I don't know if I want to make a claim with my own insurance. I don't want my rates to go up. I don't want to get dropped. I don't want to lose discounts. Personal injury protection in Maryland is protected. It is in the statute, specifically enumerated, so many different things, whether it be discounts or special bonuses or whatever it might be. If somebody makes a claim using their personal injury protection coverage here in Maryland, the insurance company cannot touch anything positive. They cannot take a discount. They cannot raise a rate. They can't put you in a different risk category. The legislature, they don't always get everything right. But this one, it looks like they worked very, very hard to enumerate every different tricky thing an insurance company could call a way to modify your insurance premium. And they've said, nope. Mallory, you know how to get in touch with me. This is it right here. See this? I've been meaning to reach out to you about this. I need to find a new insurance provider, and I want to make sure I do it right. This is an offer that is forever standing as long as my office is here. Mallory, shoot me an email, a text, whatever you want to do. You know how to get in touch with me. I am happy to take a look at what policies you are considering. $0. I'm not charging you money for this. I am not an insurance agent. I'm just going to do what I showed you on that Geico page and say, hey, you might want to look at, and all I'm going to do is feed you the little, hey, see what it would cost, because you're going to be surprised. If Mallory had sent me that policy, thank you for writing in. If you had sent me that policy, and she didn't, I just made this up this morning, I would have instructed her, if she showed me that first policy with the $162.94 a month premium and the PIP waived, to say, hey, look at what it would cost to bump that PIP up to $5,000, to $10,000. And shockingly, as we now know, because you watched me do it live, $3 a month, $36 a year. And if you do that and you have that coverage, it's actually a little inaccurate for me to say that the $36 will equal $10,000. Because here's how that coverage works. That personal injury protection coverage is per person, per accident. So imagine a scenario in which you've made that change and it's you and your entire family in the car. Let's say 2 adults, 2 children, 4 people in the car. They each will be eligible for up to $10,000 in coverage. So it's fair to say that in some scenarios, we've turned $36 into up to $40,000. Now, obviously, if they're minor children and they're not working, they're not going to use that money for wages, but they're going to use that money for any medical care that they need to get, any hospital visits, ambulance, otherwise. We've talked about running that stuff through the health insurance first, which we still continue to advise that you do. The earlier you contact our office, the better, because we can direct that PIP money to our office and make it go even further than the $10,000 for you. Super important stuff. So that's what I got for this week. Go out there, and if you're not comfortable with manipulating these systems, with getting different quotes, if you're not working directly with a live agent, which I thoroughly believe that you should be, because the cost is the same. If I were to give you all of these numbers that I just gave you for that scenario that I did online, and you were to call somebody that's an agent that is authorized to sell Geico, and there are a handful of them. They used to be entirely or mostly online. Now you see more and more Geico agencies that can actually give you a person at the other end to talk to about this. That price is going to be exactly the same. There's not an extra cost for having a live insurance agent that's going to walk you through and guide you through this. And that's the same with every company, whether it's State Farm, Progressive, Geico, any number of them. Some of them you have to work through an agent. I don't know that you can buy, for example, an Erie insurance policy completely online. They're going to put you with an agent. You're not paying extra money for that. It's not even an option. They want, some of these companies like Erie want you to have that relationship, that person that you can reach out to when you have questions about any aspect of it, whether it be your homeowners or your auto or something else. Super important stuff. Work with an agent. They're basically free. So that's what we got for today. Increase that coverage. Take a look at that coverage. If you have questions about it, info@bowerslawmd.com. Shoot me an email. I'll have you send me your declarations page, and I'll take a look at it. And I'm not going to sell you anything because I can't, as I've repeated numerous times on this podcast before. I'm not looking to start selling insurance. I just want to make sure that you are covered, that you have the coverage that you need, and that you're not learning bad news about your auto insurance policy sitting in my office because you were in an accident and it's too late to fix any of it. So this is out here to help you fix it now, so that you can thank me in the future when we're able to do amazing things for you if the unfortunate happens and you are in an accident. Also, got other questions, other topics you want me to cover, whether they are accident related or not. As you've seen in the past, I will bring somebody else in. We have talked about family law. We've talked about criminal. We've talked about expungements. We've talked about the bad billing and consumer protection. We've talked about estate planning. And I haven't been the one at the lead. I've brought somebody in that knows what they're talking about to cover those topics. And I'm happy to do so. So if you have a question, you want it on the podcast, info@bowerslawmd.com. We're going to line somebody up. Good probability that I already have somebody that I work with and refer business to anyway. We'll get them on the podcast. We'll talk about that stuff. Take care of this stuff. It's some of these things like this are super inexpensive to give you tremendous benefit if you ever need it. And at worst, and I never wish this onto anybody, but imagine if you were to go 10 years of paying the $36, you've thrown $360 away. And you didn't get the coverage, you didn't get the benefit of the coverage because you weren't in an accident. Let's say another 10 years goes by, that's $720. Think about it. You're not going to spend more in premium in your lifetime than the benefit that's sitting there waiting for you if you need it. I don't wish it onto anybody, but boy, oh boy, super nice to have it. if you need it. If you have questions about it, please reach out. I don't charge money at all, not a dime, nothing for me to review your auto insurance policy, because there are so many other things on that list of coverages that you might want to have attention to. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to tell you what to look at. So until next week, it's been great having you, great on here informing you. Hopefully this was helpful. Turn that $36 into 10 grand. Thank me later. Be well out there. See you next.